Good. Yeah, so welcome to this VanTUG event, testing a new hybrid format. So we've reduced online or in-person presence and some people online. It's been an honor to be able to invite our friend Tony to talk about a topic that most of us don't know or know very little. And that's the purpose of the group, right? Invite uh, people with great stories to share and expose knowledge and even knowledge that's hidden from normal human beings. So thank you, Tony, for accepting this invitation. Uh, the floor is yours.
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you, David, for having me to do this presentation today. And it's a pleasure to be here to talk about the dark web. And I will try to shed some light on the topic. And so I have spent much time researching and diving this space. And I'd like to present some interesting facts I encountered. This presentation will be more of a technical talk with some educational part first, and then many demos about what and how you can find benefits on the dark web. Yeah, so before I start, it's essential to give this direct and transparent information about the knowledge you are learning today. So all the activities are conducted with a focus on legality and ethics. Knowledge is a two-way path, so stay on the right side, trust in the force, and let this light guide our way always. And make sure to read the fine print before we continue. So this is the full disclaimer. Okay, so let me introduce myself. So my name is Antonio Brandao, but people usually call me Tony. I'm from Brazil and used to work for Brazilian Army. I was the head professor for the military academy responsible for preparing the future officers in the Brazil and Brazilian Army. And I was also responsible for creating the first cyber warfare course for the cadets. Here in Canada, I'm working with BCNET as a cybersecurity architect responsible for security projects, incident response, and triage of the incidents for higher education in BC. We work with universities and colleges to give peace of mind about cybersecurity. So let's start with our presentation. So this is our agenda today. I will spend around 10-15 minutes on some essential concepts about the dark web, such as understanding the dark web, how you can use the dark web, risks and illicit activities, precautions, and when using the dark web. And Sherry on the top with more technical talk. Let's wrap up with my last part. And if we have some time, we can have a final open questions section. So introduction to the dark web. So everyone has already seen the iceberg representation when we read about dark web. But my question is, what's the difference between the deep and the dark web? So every time you heard about dark web, you heard three terms about dark web. So surface, deep, and the dark web. So let me show you the difference here. So again, this is our iceberg and the definition for each part. So surface is the top part. It is the page that you can find in Google, Bing, or Yahoo. Deep web. This is the one few people really understand the difference. So deep web, it's all online content and it's not indexed. by search engines. So, for example, intranets, authenticate page, database, and dynamically generate page. And the last one, this is what we are talking today, it's the dark web. So it's online content as well, but intentionally hiding and requires specific software to access. So this is the main difference between these three levels of the internet. Let me talk about a little bit about history here. So we can see the timeline between the early concept for dark web or the Onion project. So the big and so we start in early 80s, 90s, and until and this part until 2014, when you can see a big law enforcement operation on the dark web, and you can see the Silk Road marketplace. So starting 2013. So this one was the first one to sell drugs, arms, and all kinds of illicits you can imagine. So this is some key milestones for the dark web. So you can see starting between 80s and 90s, go to West Naval Research Laboratory, and then the project the One Year Router, Tor project, it's the famous one. And then the Silk Road in 2011, shut down 2013. And then in 2014, start the big operation from law enforcement. So understanding the dark web. So there are more than Tor network. And this is the one, it's more popular than the Freenet and I2P. And so you can see there is more than only one dark web. And our focus today, it's only on the Tor network. And here you can see more about the different dark webs. So you have the first one is the Freenet project. And then you have the I2P. And what we are talking today is the Tor project. Okay, so in this next, you can see more detailed information about each one compared with the web is the surface part. Okay, so let's talk about the Tor network. So I'm using 3 pictures here to explain how the Tor network works. So the first part, when the user starts, let's say the Tor browser, a Tor client, obtain a list of Tor nodes from directory server. So the Tor nodes is the computers in the middle. So you have different Tor nodes. And then the second part is, so we are using Alice Tor client. So in the first part, the computer, the client get all the nodes, and then they start random path to the destination. So Alice wants to connect to Bob. So they get the green links. So these links are encrypted, and on the last hope is the red one, it's clear. So the exit node only knows about the destination. And here in the third step, so if Alice try to connect a different destination, for example, Jane, they change the path between Alice and Jane. So again, the green links are encrypted, red link are in clear, but the randomness inside the Tor network, it's one topic we can discuss later, but this is the way it's hard to follow all the path between the source and the destination.
So, quick question. Is that why it's called Tor or the onion? Is because there's multiple layers between each? So it's not like a web server that you Once you find the IP where the server is hosted, you have a direct connection. In this case, there's always multiple layers between.
Yeah, and the layers inside the Tor network, you cannot see. So let's say between the green lines, you cannot see the IPs between nodes.
So if you do like a trace route, you wouldn't see the hops. It would just be, okay, interesting. Yeah.
So this is the main idea for the Tor network. So you can see all the three pictures at once. So you can see step 1, step 2 in the right, and step 3 in the middle. So this is the way the Tor network can provide like encryption. So the green links are encrypted. The Tor network will provide randomness, so it's hard to identify the source in destination. And just remember, the idea is not totally foolproof, because if you are trying to downloading a file or using a service that require user authentication, you can give up your privacy in this moment. So you can navigate in the dark web, but never download or access a service that need authentication, because you can give up your privacy in this case. So let me talk about some risks and illicit activities. So in this graph, you can see the more common illicit place you can find in the dark web or the marketplaces. So in this, in this place, you can find all kinds of drugs, arms, hiring hitmen, selling malwares, and here you can see the evolution between January 2011 and July 2018. And for example, Dream Marketplace had the Dream is the purplish red color almost in the middle of the graph around July 2018. And the Dream Marketplace had around $1.6 million in sales per day. And right now it's more around 2022, because there are many different marketplaces. The daily sales are only, let's say this way, between $400,000 and $600,000 per day. And this information came after law enforcement operation sized this marketplace. So this is why we know how is the sales for these marketplaces.
So there might be others that are not.
Yeah.
We don't have statistics because they were not.
It's not
compromised yet.
Exactly. And for Canada, so Canada has your own group responsible for to catch the illicits in the internet. So it's the National Cybercrime Coordination Center, is the NC3. And from the last report from December 2024, the ransomware remains the top global cybercrime threat, and they have a report around 400 and 500 incidents per year. So it's more than one per day. And cybersecurity threats right now, it's malwares, phishings, and ransomware. And here you can see all the NC3 coordinate operations since 2021. And mostly are joint operation with FBI, Europol, or local law enforcement in Canada. So you can see different operations, different groups, but it's always the Canadian law enforcement working with different institutions internally and external to Canada. Next one. So this is just a reminder. So the main problems with cybersecurity that affect organizations are the phishing and malware threats. But for individuals, it's a little bit different. It's more about scams and fraud. So this is just a reminder and the difference between organization and individuals. So the result of a law enforcement operation. Sorry. This is the law enforcement operation took over two big marketplaces, the Hansa and Alpha Bay market. And one interesting fact about the Hansa takeover is that as part of this operation, law enforcement operate Hansa for 27 days. So they assume all the operations from the marketplace. And with this action, they enabling them to identify hundreds of sellers and thousands of buyers. So the law enforcement right now, they are changing the way they are operating, and they don't just shut down the website. They took the operation and tried to identify the sellers and the buyers that they are using this specific marketplace. So this operation was from 2017. Okay, some precautions you need to have before connecting to the dark web. So understand the legal implications. So know the laws, you avoid illegal activity. Always use security tools, for example, Tor browser, a VPN, and isolate environment, and protect your identity. So avoid using personal device to connect, disable scripts in the Tor browser. And if you are using a marketplace or go to a forum, always create a different profile for you. So create a persona that you can use during conversation, during some investigation you are doing. So they keep this in mind. So don't use your own information. You can create your a specific email using a Proton, using a different provider for email. It's more related with dark web to avoid any personal information. And again, be cautious with downloads. So always scan files, be aware of malware. So it's not a good idea to download everything you find. So be cautious. Financial precaution, use all script currency safely and avoid large transactions. And always monitor network traffic. So what kind of precaution I use for this presentation? So I'm using a container running a server in Singapore. From the container, I connect to the dark web using Tor. And the question is why I'm using a container? Because every time I go to the dark web, I can start a new container. And after I finish my threat hunting, I destroy the container. So all the logs, everything is gone. It's the easier way to avoid any kind of infections or attacks. Okay, so before we dive in the dark web, we can go. I will share some sites here that you can use in the surface mode, let's say this way, to find dark web information. So the first one is the blockchain explorer. So if I want to show how you can follow the money during the negotiations. So in this website, you can find, you can see Bitcoin transactions and the hash ID for each transaction. So you need the Bitcoin address. It's something start with BC1 and a bunch of numbers and letters for the transaction. And using the Bitcoin address, you can find transactions. And I will show two websites at the same time. It's easier to understand. So the next one is the ransomware live. So in this website, you can find all the information about ransomware groups, the last attacks. You can see the negotiation charts, the Bitcoin address, and hash. So now I can show you both websites. So this one is the Blockchain Explorer. So in this camp, in this field, you can source the blockchain. So let's go to another site first, and then I will come back here. So this one is the ransomware live. So you have all the information about recent attacks, cyber attacks in press, ransomware groups. And here you can see the ransomware groups. So they have 238 ransomware groups listed here. So you can see if the group are online with the green ball in the status, what was the last update, how many victims, when was the first activity, the last first activity they have access, and what is the last attack they did. So you have all the lists here, all the ransomware groups. Many are offline, but you can find the green ones is online. Here you can find the negotiation charts. So it's a good place to understand how the groups negotiate the ransom. So here is an example, the one case with the Akira ransomware group. They discuss everything. They discuss how much you need to pay, what do you need to do to get your files decrypted. Okay, so now I will show you how you can use the blockchain.
Uh, can I ask you a question here, please?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So I joined 4 minutes after you started. So this ransomware live, is this like a tracker for all the worldwide attacks and conversations, or is this something that the attackers also use to log their conversations and do a chat with us?
Yeah, when the organization is attacked, they create a chat directly with the organization, and then they can communicate what they want, what kind of, how much you need to pay if you wanna have your files decrypted. And I can show you. So this one is one example, how the negotiation is happen. But during my presentation, I will show you how you can create a chat in the dark web, the same way they are using to communicate with the organization that was attacked. And then you can see the different way you can work. Why you cannot read there?
And who populates this? Right? This is an organization that researches all the data and shares here. Is
Yeah.
that, yeah. Okay.
Did you see a share or a shard?
Yes.
Oh, snatch. It's okay. Please continue. Thank you.
Yeah, so here I want to use the Bitcoin address from the Akira group. So this one is the wallet they are using. So I can get the transaction hash from here. Then I go to the blockchain website, search for the transaction. I can see one transaction here. So in this transaction, they are sending $138,000 to the Akira ransomware group. So
that's tracking the Akira destination wallet
yeah,
and the transaction that someone paid for the ransom.
exactly. So this one is the way you can follow the money during the negotiation or during an investigation. Okay, so and then you can see from and to. So you can go and try to follow all the path to the money. So this is one way you can use the blockchain and the ransomware website. So the next two, so is the ransom watch. So the ransom watch is very similar to ransomware live, but having a different source to double check the information is good. So everything you can find in some ransomware live, you can find in ransomware ransom watch. So you can double check your source. And the last one is the Darkweb Informer. So you can find more informations, more the last attacks.
I think we compromised.
Yeah, let's do something.
Just have to say, as someone who's been in security for a great many years, backups are your friend, and no matter what the criminals promise you, nothing is guaranteed. They will absolutely hack you again, and they will absolutely sell your data to your competitors. The best thing to do is never pay them and make sure you can restore your data. That's my suggestion when dealing with ransom.
Yeah, we call this the double extortion. So they start asking for money and then they will try again.
Yeah, usually someone who's compromised before is an easy repeat victim, right? And what Wayne said, right? If people were not paying,
Yeah.
there would be no business for them.
Exactly.
And once you get a blacklist, the other groups are going to hack you.
Yeah, so this one is the Darkweb Informer. So you can see many different informations here. You can see data breach with screenshots from the forums. They are selling the information. You can see the last DDoS attacks. You can see leaks is the same, the data breach over there. And ransomware vulnerability. So I like this website for if you want to know more about the ransomware groups, everything. So this one I use almost daily.
When people say that the organization was hacked and they're selling all the information online, that same transaction usually happen on the dark web, right? Not on.
No, yeah, everything happened in the dark web. Okay, so again, before diving in the dark web, I want to show you a project that I'm doing. So I talk with the guy responsible for the ransomware shot, and I use this information to create a AI chat bot. So you can negotiate with the ransomware group using the same knowledge, let's say this way, and the AI. So here I have two versions. One is graphical version, or this one it's the easier one. It's only a terminal version. So you can use OpenAI or the X AI or Grok. So let's use the OpenAI. So here you have many different options for ransomware groups. So let's use Akira. And then you insert your, it's not correct. Wait a minute. Okay, now you have access to the Akira negotiation chat room, and then you can start talking. For example, open files. And then the chat will answer as Akira using the data they get from the chat negotiation. And then you can spend many hours chatting with the Akira, or you can choose a different ransomware group. So they are the behavior for the chat is the same as you are using in a negotiation. I prefer to use Conch or Akira because they have more data for the AI to answer the questions. That's why I'm using this two. Okay, so this is another example you can do without going directly to the dark web. And this one is an open project. You have the GitHub if you wanna download and start working with the chat. And as a good military, I love the Art of War by Sun Tzu. So if you know your enemy, know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. So if you do your homework, you can understand, you can know better who is attacking you. It's easier to defend yourself. Okay, so now let's do the dark web. So I'm using a container. Inside the container, I already have the Tor browser installed. So let's do some configuration and best practice to use the Tor browser. Wait a minute.
Hi, Tony. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What stops the authorities from cracking down and stopping the directory servers or the Tor nodes?
You are asking how you can create a new node, or
No,
sorry.
how? Yeah, how? Why can't the authorities crack down on the directory nodes
okay.
and shut them down?
Yeah. So the main idea for the Tor network is not was not create for illicit activity. So it's an open project. You can create your own node. I will show you how. And just being part of the project, it's not illegal. But who is using the networks doing illicit? This is the problem, because the main idea for the Tor project is to be able to communicate with specific countries. For example, the one they are using a firewall uh, that avoid external communication, so you can use Tor to go through the firewall. Some different activities in some specific countries that not allow free speech. So that's why they are using Tor. So the problem is not the authority go against the nodes, but the authority is going against the illicit activity. So if you wanna be part of the Tor project, it's easier. You can install your own node, and it's not the problem. So I believe I answered your question one.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I just like to add on a little quick thing there. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. As many as or as fast as they like pick up the bad guys, there's always another bad guy. It's like a Hydra. There's always two more to replace the one that was taken. So
Yeah. Okay, so let's do some quick configurations here in the Tor browser. So you can download the Tor browser using the Tor project. You can download using your own browser, for example, Chrome. You go to torproject.org and you can choose download Tor browser, and you have your operation system here. You can install in your Android phone. You have a different apps in the Apple Store as well to connect to the dark web. But here you can find the way to download and install in your own computer. So just choose the correct operation system. After you install, you have this one is the purple onion. This is the symbol for the Tor project. And when you open the Tor browser, they connect to the dark web to connect to the Tor network. Before we go to the dark web, let's do some quick configuration here. So go to settings, private and security. Go to history. So go here, never remember history. It's one way to avoid any problem. And then go to security. Use at least safer, because this one will be disable all kind of script running in your browser. So you can avoid all infections, let's say this way, doing this. And the last one will be connection. So you can enable this one, always connect the Tor browser when you open. So when you open the Tor browser, they go direct to the Tor network. Yes, Wayne, do you have a question?
oh, sorry, I forgot to turn that off.
Okay, no problem. So let's come back to the presentation. This one is the first step, is the Tor browser. The next one I would like to show you. It's not this one. Where's my mouse? Yeah, so how you can create a website in the dark web. So it's easy with like 2 lines of the commands. You can create your own website in the dark web. And I will show you how you can do. So this is the commands you need to give. So you need to install the Tor and then a web server. Start the web server. You can configure your main page for your website. And then you need to change only 2 lines in the configuration for the Tor service. Restart the Tor, and that's it. You have your website in the dark web. So it's easy, it's directly, and I can show you here the result. So this one is my address in the dark web for my website. Okay, so you can install a forum, you can install what you want here. So this is the easy way to create your own website inside the dark web. And then you can share your address. And inside the dark web, all the address finish with .onion. This is something you can see easier in the surface. If you try to find a address in the dark web, you need to search for .onion. But if you try to use .onion inside the Chrome, for example, here, so I show you my website. So if I try to use the same address in the Chrome, they not find anything, because you need to be in the Tor network to go to the website.
They're like a Google site.
So
And it defeats the purpose of being hidden.
you can, I can share some websites where you can find the list as the address you can use in the dark web, but it's not the proposal for the Tor network is privacy. So you share your address to someone, then you can share your website.
Okay, that justifies the product, right? It's supposed to be, I want to communicate with you on a private place. I'll give you the address, you connect directly, rather than
Yeah, so
broadcasting. Okay.
exactly. So the next is the Onion share. So with the Onion share, you can share a file, you can share what you want to use in these two. But for the presentation, you create a chat, anonymous chat, using the dark web. So again, it's a few commands. The last one here is when you start the chat. So onion share -cli space -- chat. But if you go to the surface and search for onionshare.org, you can see all kinds of service you can use with Onion share. But right now, let me show you. So this one is my server. It's a Linux server, and I start the Onion share. So when they finish all the connections to the Tor network, you can find your address here and your private key for the share, for the chat. So you get the address, and you can share with who you want to to communicate. So here you can see again. So I put the address here, and then the first thing they ask me is to authenticate. So I need to get the private key. And that's it. I'm inside the Onio share shot. And it's totally private. Nobody knows the address. Nobody knows the private key. And I can use any username you want. So let me connect using a, so this one is the same address. I will put the private key here. So this one should be a different machine. So it's a different Docker, a different container. You already seen the dark here is the username from the other user. And here, you can have your chat. So this is the way the ransomware group doing to do the negotiation for the ransom. So it's a private chat with a private address and a private key. So it's totally anonymous. Okay. And again, it's with us easy and simple commands you can install and start the chat. It's not complicated. You only need a Linux server to do this.
And now I'm really curious because if the chat is completely private, so how the guys from Ransomware Live have access to that information?
Because the guy responsible for the ransomware logs from the chat, it's a resource. He's working with a security company in France, so he has contact with the victims and ask them to share the chat.
Okay.
So they don't have access during the negotiation, but when the victim was compromised, they copy everything and then they share with this guy. So that's why they create a GitHub with all the logs, and then you can use for what you want. In this case, I create a project with AI and using the information from the chats.
So thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so how you can create a Tor relay? Before I show you, let me explain something here. You have two options. You can choose as a exit node or a inside node. If you wanna play with the Tor network, the only thing I can say is start with Tor nodes, not go to the exit nodes, because the last node, the last hope, all the communication are decrypted and the destination knows who is the last node. So you have some legal implication if you want to be a X node, so the last hope. But the idea is you're not sharing the information during the process, so you can do it. So, but what I recommend, don't be the X node. Do the middle relay or the no X relay, no exit relay at least. And again, this is it's easier to create a Tor relay. So again, you update, upgrade the Linux server, install the Tor service, change a few lines in the Tor configuration, and then to restart the service, and you are the Tor node. Okay.
The question: why anyone wants to be a Tor node? What's the reason why?
It's more like if you wanna do something good for free speech, if you wanna do work with a non-profit organization to allow the people from I don't want to say the name of the countries, but if you want to give some options to certain countries to go outside, you can work as a Tor node.
Okay.
Okay, so again, this is the structure for the Tor network. And the middle is the relay nodes, and the last one is the exit node. So again, the green line, green links are encrypted, and the red link are cleared. So the exit node, the destination knows who you are. So you can maybe you can have problem with some illegal activity. Okay, so if you are interested in having your own Docker container, I'm giving access to my my project Docker container. So this one you can find. So you can find a GitHub with all the information you need, how you can create your own Linux server. I prefer to use DigitalOcean. For me, it's good enough. And then you can choose a different location. For example, for this presentation, my Linux service in the Singapore. And then you have all the steps you need to create your own Docker container. Inside this Docker container, you already have all the configuration and the apps you need to go to the dark web. After you finish what you're doing, you can destroy the container and everything gone. Yeah, some key takeaways for dark web. So again, the dual nature for the dark web. So you have the positive implication, negative implication. So it depends the way you want to use. The positive side, it's how you can improve privacy, and the negative side, it's how criminal are using private for illegal activity. So this is why I'm saying it's a dual nature of the dark web, and always use the dark web with the ethical idea. So you can choose to do illegal or legal activity when you are in the dark web.
So if I wanted to buy an illegal rocket launcher, where would I go?
Marketplace, you can choose. There are many different ones. And inside, where's the, where I mean? So inside the container, I already give you different links here. So you can find, where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. So if you want, for example, in this file inside the container, you have different forums and marketplace where you can find illegal stuff. So if you want, you can go. It's up to you.
So those are inside your GitHub
Yeah.
container project.
It's all the information it's inside.
Meant
Yeah,
for research
so-
purposes only.
Yeah, exactly. It's only,
Such the
You
price.
need to know yourself and know your enemy, according to what you said.
Yeah.
So,
so as a final reflection, so what can we say about the reflection and what we did today? So I believe that there is a new world to explore. Dark web is a different situation, so you can go and discover what you want. But there are a lot of challenges and opportunities with this new world. And the most important, it's ongoing education and ethical engagement with this topic. So open your mind and try to do good things when you can find the opportunities. When I start the presentation, I show you the badge in the right side, you can see. So this one was created when I create the cyber warfare course for the military academy. And I like this one because in the bottom of the badges, you can see a Latin expression. It's a hic sunt draconis. So in English, it's mean here be dragons. And you can find this expression in old maps from 1500s, and it means dangers or unexplored territories. In imitation of a medieval practice of putting illustration of dragons, for example, the bottom part, the right side, illustration of dragons, sea monsters, and other mythological creatures on uncharted areas of map where potential dangers were thought to exist. And this phrase was meant to warn the maps users of potential dangers. So when cyber warfare was created in the military academy, the badge representing the course was the word cybernetics in the top, and the dragon in the center, and the Latin expression in the bottom. However, the potential dangers were not enough to stop sailors to sailing worldwide. So thank you for the opportunity to be here to discuss or to present some ideas about dark web. And I open for questions if you have. We have some time to do it.
yeah, well, first, thank you for accepting the invitation to present to us. I personally knew nothing about dark web. I am a bit curious just to see, what the bad guys are doing. No, I don't want to buy a rocket launcher. I did buy the Elon Musk flamethrower a long time ago, the not a flamethrower. That's another story. But it's good, right? That's why we run these communities, to learn new things and expose people to new ideas. So thanks for taking this challenge. Anyone has questions for Tony?
A small question about that Tor browser.
Yeah.
Is that a safe browser to install in our PCs, or does it have any link with those bad guys on the other side?
Yes, the Tor project, it's an open source project, so they have a community to work together to create a security and safe environment to access the dark web. So I strongly advise to use the Tor browser. You can find a different projects give you the same opportunity to connect, but I prefer the Tor browser.
Okay, thank you.
But you recommend always running it on an isolated environment, right?
Yes,
Not on your
yeah.
personal machine.
The best way, if you don't want to use as a Docker container, the way I show you, you can create your own virtual machine, a VM, install the Tor project inside, do what you want, and then destroy the VM. The only problem, you spending some time to create and do all the configuration for the VM, but it's good enough for some investigation. But again, I offer the Docker container because every time you create a new container, you are spending a few seconds to start the container, and that's it. And when you destroy, it's gone.
Yeah, and the recommendation to install it in a VM is the right thing, I think. So that
Yeah.
doesn't affect your own system, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you. So one other question I had, you showed some chat, right? The chat response, as I see, it looks pretty automated. Is there really someone sitting at the other end who is answering those, or is this like a robot?
No,
AI?
yeah. So and for that project, I'm using the OpenAI API. So every time you chat, the OpenAI will analyze what you are talking and use the logs from the specific chat to answer your question. So it's a bot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, great.
I think
if
he
someone
kind of was asking.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think you asked more about like what are the criminals using? Are they using bots or there is someone else there? And it's a combination, sir. Usually
Yeah.
there's someone watching a bot, but they're watching like 40 bots. You know what I mean? All having conversations with all their potential victims.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing right now, that all these big groups, for example, Akira, Conti, and different ones, they have like a help desk service only to answer chats, only to give help how you can decrypt your files. So it's like a organized crime using the dark web. So they really have a help desk to do all the service. So it's not a bot. They really shout you are compromised.
Well, the business, right? They're making money. So
It's busy. Business.
I have a question. Is the Go capable of find stuff at Darkweb?
What kind?
Yeah, I read it some time ago that DuckDuckGo, the search tool, index some stuff in dark web and would be able to.
Yeah, some browser, some search engine is trying to get all the files, all the address, and create like a Google machine behind the scenes. But it's hard because it's completely, it's totally randomness address. So it's not. I believe it's almost impossible. Okay, so
yeah, there's a question, right? So is there such a thing as a search engine for the network, right? So it's dynamic, right? It's a lot of private nodes.
Yeah, you can find some website that can share address for the marketplace or for forums, but it's not like Google. You put like some words and then you can query for a specific topics. They only share the full address and the name for the website. This kind of service you can find, but not as a Google. You put a topic and then they can query for you.
So it's like an internet with IPv6 with no DNS.
So the old ones can say like a gopher.
Yeah.
So you have only the list of the links and that's it.
Questions come from the chat. It's possible to list some resources for following to start further.
Yeah, so we'll share the recording and the key links. So we'll create a blog post on the VanTUG website and have a recap of the event, including the recording, the presentation is Tony is willing to share.
Yeah.
But at least a list of resources, right? Where the, all the links here. So, and I'll post it on the meetup thing, kind of recap for the event.
And if you have any questions, you can contact me. You have my LinkedIn, you have my email. So I'm open to discuss any talks if you want or any question you have. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Bruce Buds, thanks.